And then I called him up. I think it was about 2 days later, or whenever, and I said, "Is there a doubt in your mind? Is there just a doubt, just forensically, Nicholas, in your mind?" And he said, "Well, I've seen, like people fake suicides before, and what happens is just when there's this gross forensic stuff, but I'll tell it to you anyway." He said, if the person's conscious, that they grit their teeth, and if they're not conscious, then the gun is placed in his left position. And he said that the place that Kurt put his gun, I guess, was like, anyway, it was whatever. You can deal with him. I don't know, but it was like pressed, it was whatever. He just said, "No, absolutely not." And then I called up Sergeant Cameron, and I said, "Do you have any doubt in your mind?" Because one of the things that I kept, I was going to employ this woman, I think I still might, who's been working on this girl, Mia Zapata, that got murdered.
Yeah.
Is to find out those 3 days. And I thought it was pretty weird that Dan Jones called that radio station, when Dan Jones is the guy that took the Polaroids of Kurt.
Yeah.
And was with the Leap Funeral Home.
That's fine.
Whatever, but I mean, I don't know why, I love him so much. I mean, why?
You
whatever.
Love who?
My husband.
Well, of course, but that's not the issue right now. Let's just do one thing at a time.
I love Cali, too, by the way.
Well, and that's why we can help Cali. If we can get Cali cleared through a polygraph, then he's out of it. And believe me, then I'm going to start looking like a fool, and nobody's going to pay any attention to me anymore.
I have to finish this New Zealand thing. I have to go to Japan, go to New York, and then on the 15th of
Not
February.
For Cali can come down right away.
I want him to be able to stay up there and not deal with us right now. And if you can do whatever you do, keep going, keep going wherever you're going for the next 3 weeks. When I get done, or when Cali wants to leave, I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to turn around and call him at home and say, "Go down, go to Tom Grant's office."
He's in Seattle now, you said, right?
Yeah, he's at my house.
Yeah.
He hasn't been at my house since the funeral.
Oh, you're not at your house now?
I'm in New Zealand.
Oh, I see. Okay. I mean, this is putting Cali under a lot of pressure, too, I'm sure. And if we can get him cleared out of this thing, then that's one step towards getting to the truth here.
They're not drug users anymore. And I know he's been clean for 2 months. If he hadn't been clean, I wouldn't let him near my daughter, but he has been. And he hasn't seen Casey, and that's, whatever. And after I spent that much money on him and he ran from rehab, I was like, that's it. Fuck you. I'm cutting you off. This is where Kurt will cut you off. This is where I'm cutting you off. So I didn't spend another dime on him. And his dad, there was this whole intervention thing with Gary. It was like he was trying to turn into Kurt or something, And the reason Kurt liked him was because he was happy and funny, and believe it or not, he was
believe
really
me, if Cali wasn't involved in this at all, I'm the first one that wants to get him out of it, and we can do it really quick by just doing a polygraph.
Well, okay. Rosemary was really, really freaked out by your letter. And, one of the things that Rosemary was talking to me about when all this happened, when everything happened, was how, I said it to Kurt, and during the intervention, these are the people that were there during the official intervention.
Yeah, I know all of the people.
Danny Goldberg, the president of Time Warner, Gary Gersh, the president of Capitol Records, Mark Cates, my A&R guy, Ray, oh God, what's his last name? Ray, he does sales at Geffen, not Robert Smith, but the guy under Robert Smith. He came from a punk rock label. Pat Smear, who's an alcoholic. Dylan, who's a junkie. Me, who you consider a junkie and could be considered a junkie, definitely. Although at the time I certainly wasn't, because it was after Rome. And that's basically it. Luke Woods, for some reason, was there. He was a little publicist, and now he does sales. I guess those are the people that were there. I don't know anybody else that was there. Chris didn't even come. Dave didn't even bother fucking coming. And that's when they made me leave. They had a car. They're like, go.
Yeah, I
and
understand
Janet was there. Janet Billig was there. Jackie Ferry was there.
What can you do? Can you get me a copy of that coroner's report? Because that's the other thing that could clear this up. If they can prove scientifically that it was self-inflicted, then again,
something about Mike's mouth position. Yeah, you know what? When I go back to Seattle, Nicholas said, because I was kind of hysterical when I called him. I said, "Will you come over to my house? Will you bring me? I don't want to see pictures, but will you bring me?"
But you understand? You could even just make a phone call and get that coroner's report released to me.
If I did that, I'd get in so much trouble. I will bring it to you or I will give it to you from my hand to your hand, and then you can do what you want with it.
Okay.
But if I or FedEx it, but if I fucking get it, call now and organize it. This Nicholas will. He's not going to give it to you. I mean, he's like.
Well, first of all, if you request it and you say you want it.
He only had like $60 or $80. I'd say more like $80.
No, he had 120 and then 63 in cash.
I'm talking about worth of heroin in his body.
Okay. Well, here's what could bring this to a real quick end and solve all of your problems. If I have a copy of the coroner's report, and if Cali comes down for a polygraph, this thing will be brought to a real quick end. It's as simple as that.
Well, if I called up Rosemary or Seth or Halal or anybody and said, I'm going to go along with Tom and like help him, they'd fucking kill me. So I have to do it secretly.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like getting screamed at, yelled at, and told that I'll be legally uncompromising myself. We did not have any plain Valium in the house. And that's what was found in his bloodstream. And we had Klonopin, and I asked Nicholas, can you tell the difference between Klonopin or Rohypnol? And he said, no, it was Valium, diazepam. And that was what they were giving him at Exodus. So somehow he got Valium. I want to know where he was for 4 days. That's for 3 days. That's what I want to know.
Well, you said you don't think it happened on the 3rd, but I'm saying
that's what you told me, and I don't believe that anymore.
I said either the 3rd or early Monday morning, which would be the 4th. I don't believe anybody actually saw him after 7:30 Monday morning. And I believe that anybody that says they did is lying.
I would call Cameron with you right now, and you could hear it from his mouth.
Again, I don't trust Cameron. In case you're not
aware
of that.
I didn't tell him I was calling you.
In case you're not aware of that, I don't trust a thing Cameron says. If he wants to send me a copy,
what about Kim?
I don't trust anybody on the Seattle homicide team right now. If they want to send me a copy of that Rome note, that would be appreciated, but just talk on the phone doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, it's gone. But I bet they have, I'm sure they have a copy of it in Olympia. They had to continue the graphologist.
If it's there, sooner or later we'll see it, and then there shouldn't be a problem.
And the reason why they gave it to me the day after Kristen died is because I'd been bugging them, and here I am up in the news again, and they realized they better get off their fucking asses and bring me my note.
She ought to say that in public. She ought to say that I'm lying about that if she really believes that.
Well, see, she was in the
and then sit back and watch me prove that she did say it.
Rosemary gets hysterical and says a lot of shit.
Well, but the point is, you just said she says she didn't say it.
She said she didn't say anything that was on the transcript on the K-Rock thing.
Well, tell her to say that publicly. It's real easy to say it behind closed doors, but she ought to go public and say that. Sooner or later, she's going to be forced to.
But, she read your letter. Well, I don't know. Anyway, what else? Okay, I will. I just wish you had a conference on your phone, and that way you could like.
But like I said, you've promised me things before, and it didn't come through. So
but I promised you that I would come and sit and talk to you. I didn't want to see
you also
pictures.
promised you'd get a hold of Cali and get him in.
Hold on.
Okay.
Something to do it.